Happy Sabbath, everybody. It is a wonderful privilege to be able to assemble in a cool church, temperature-wise, and in freedom as we enjoy in this country. We must never take that for granted. There's a picture that I want to share with you, a photograph that you may see now. This is the picture of my mother-in-law holding our new granddaughter. And our granddaughter was born on November 28th of last fall. And in this picture, this is about February 2015, when my mother-in-law was able to go with my wife, Marilyn, to visit my son and his wife and our granddaughter in Nova Scotia. And do you have, I guess, that's the only picture you have, is it? I thought there was one more of a closer of the hand and the feet. But I thought, when I looked at that picture, I said, that would be a good illustration to use when I speak during the communion service. By then, I knew I was due to and scheduled to come here today. And I looked at that picture and I said, those hands are 90 years old when that picture was taken. And those feet are only about 3 months old. So there's a lot of years in between. The feet are just starting to explore this new world of hers. And yet the hands are hands of experience, hands of comfort, hands that have provided many wonderful meals over the years. I didn't know what it was like to eat good meals until I met my mother-in-law. And my weight quickly went up. And I've been struggling ever since. But it's a good struggle, because she always makes sure that you have something to eat. You never leave her home hungry, that's for sure. And she passed that on to my wife, and my wife Marilyn also follows that very strictly. And the challenge is when my mother-in-law visits, she's always in her mind going to do the cooking, but she can't do it anymore physically, but she talks like she is doing it. And of course, it's Marilyn that's doing all the work. But it's an interesting dynamic. But it was her great privilege to hold her granddaughter, and especially hold her feet like this. And it was there between them for quite a while. It wasn't just a few seconds. And I thought, this is how God holds us in his hands. We are like that little child. We think, those of us who are of certain years, and I can put myself there now, that we think we've experienced a lot, and we have quite a few experiences that we can draw on from time to time. But compared to our God, we know very little, and he knows so much, and he has so much to teach us. And this wonderful verse that Brother Morgan just read for us, "Fear not, for I am with you." That picture shows that. "Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you." I love that. "With my righteous right hand." We are never without hope, even when we are alone and no one, humanly speaking, is physically around us. We still have God to draw on. God is there to help us. God is there to give us his special encouragement, his special healing, and his special comfort. I think back as we look at the communion emblems here, I think back of that upper room experience that Thursday night before Jesus was taken away to be crucified. He took some water in a bucket and he grabbed a towel and he started to wash his disciples' feet. Much to their surprise and dismay, they felt almost humiliated that they didn't think of this first. They felt unworthy to have their master, their rabbi, their leader do this for them. But Jesus was willing to humble himself and teach this valuable lesson to his disciples. He could not do that service without using his hands. How important are our hands? How important are the hands of Jesus? A few hours later, we saw those same hands hanging on the cross. And when we get to his heavenly kingdom, we will see those hands, but we will also see the scars that were left from the cross. Yes, those hands were spread apart, and he gave his life for us. He did not have to go there for himself, for he was without sin, but he went there for you and for me. And he realized that even after his disciples were baptized, they still sinned after their baptism. And we need to realize that too, that just because we are baptized, it doesn't automatically mean that we're never going to sin again. We still need that special cleansing, and the foot washing service provides that. His hands during the 40 days after the resurrection to encourage and train and prepare his disciples for the time when at the end of those 40 days he would have to return to his heavenly Father. And they would have to carry on. But even during those 40 days, he was cooking by the water on the shore, cooking breakfast for them. He was comforting them. He was showing them how to minister to the people around them. And finally, when Jesus left and was taken up in the clouds and disappeared right before them, it was the disciples' hands that were to be left to carry on. Fast forward to us here today. It is no different for us than it was for the disciples. It is our hands that are meant to carry on where Jesus left off. It is our hands who are to be his hands during our lifetime. It is our hands to minister and need to minister to each other. That is the great privilege we have. And before we partake of the communion service, we have the privilege of serving one another as Jesus served the 12 disciples. We cannot do that service. And later, we cannot take the bread and the wine without using our hands. So as you serve that person, that special person in front of you, as you wash their feet, remember that your hands are the hands of Jesus right at that moment. You are doing what he would do if he was here. And what a wonderful privilege that is for us. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.